Hello everyone, thank you for joining. My name is Shampoo Simpson and this is the Chair Pilates with resistant bands exercise group. So this exercise group was created for the geriatric and Parkinson's disease population. This exercise group will consist of a warm-up session that will last for 5 minutes. There will be 3 different moves that will incorporate the resistant band, and this will last roughly 15 minutes. And then there will be a cool down portion, and that will also be 5 minutes long. So altogether, this exercise group will last no longer than 30 minutes. For this exercise group, you will need a room that will be able to accommodate chairs for each participant to sit in and be big enough to allow space between each of the participants. Now, ideally, we would want arm length space so that everyone has their own room to move freely, and that we're just not all over on top of each other. Now, as far as the instructor will need to be in a great distance in front of everyone and make sure that she or he is facing everyone as well. This way, the participants are kind of mirroring the instructor. And also, if wanted, music can be played softly in the background, this way that all participants are able to hear the instructor and the moves in the proper way to perform those moves. Now, for this group, there are 3 expected outcomes and or benefits expected for these populations. The first outcome and or benefit is the populations will be able to identify 3 proper ways to warm up before the class. Now, I mentioned before, there will be a warm-up session at the beginning of this class. The second benefit and or outcome that will be expected from this population, well, they will be able to demonstrate 3 different ways to incorporate the resistant band during the chair Pilates. And like I mentioned before, there are 3 different expected moves that will be taught during this class. And lastly, the third expected outcome and or benefit expected for these populations will be they will perform 3 different moves that will work on improving coordination and posture. So that is why we will be incorporating our resistant band and we will be sitting in a chair. This way we are all learning how to control those 2 things, the posture and coordination. And so that is just a little bit about what Chair Pilates with the resistant band class will be about, how long it will be lasting, and what is expected for these 2 specific populations that will be participating in this group. Now that we have spoken about what the exercise group will be about, let's get into the performing portion. Like mentioned before, you will need a resistant band. You do not need it to be tied up. Mine is tied up. It's been tied up. So just disregard that. Just as long as you have a resistant band, that's all that matters. Excuse me. We will begin with a warm-up portion. This will consist of everyone moving their legs in a bike-like motion, as if you are on a stationary bike. For this move, you do not have to speed through it. Just need to get your body warmed up and ready to go. Let's begin. Now, while you're doing this, like I mentioned before, you do not have to go extremely fast. You don't have to go extremely slow. Just go at your expected speed. And let's just get the body warmed up. This is the cardio portion of the group. And you also do not have to raise your legs high. You can go at you can go at your expected desire, okay? I don't want anybody to overwork themselves or hurt themselves or strain anything. This portion is simply to get the heartbeat going and to get the blood flowing and just warming up our bodies so that we're ready for the rest. All right? And we will do this for 5 minutes. And if you need to, if it's a bit out of time, just take a little break. It's for 5 minutes. You don't have to do it constantly for 5 minutes. Ideally, we will want to get to that. But if it's hard at the beginning and you're just not starting out, take little breaks in between. Just make sure that you hop back in as soon as possible for those 5 minutes. Okay? So, after we do that for 5 minutes, we will switch over into incorporating our resistant band. So, for our first move, we will place the band underneath our foot. So I will demonstrate for you guys. So you want to have the band under your foot as so. This way you're able to pull the band and not lose the band when you're pulling it, because our first move will require us to pull the band inward as if we are raising dumbbells, okay? As if we're lifting weights. So, like I said, you want to have the band under your foot, and you just want to begin to curl as if you're lifting a dumbbell weight. Oh wait, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. So we will be, so like when you're pulling upward, you want to flex your foot up. When you're pulling down, relax your foot. Up, flex. Down, relax. Up, flex. Down, relax. And see, it's kind of harder for me to pull as far as I would like, because mine's is tied. So like I mentioned before, don't worry about tying yours up. You want to be able to get that resistance and be able to pull it. For me, it's a lot harder because it is tied up. And if you're new to working out, or if you haven't done it in a while, I would suggest not tying it up, just so that you can have a little more to pull versus what I have. So yeah, we're going to flex our foot up and pull inward. And then we're going to go down. And then up. And then down, and then up, and then down, and up, and then down. And we're going to do that 10 times on each leg. And if it's a bit much for you, then reduce the number. It's okay. But ideally, we do want to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? And then once we're done with the 10 on that leg, we're going to switch to the other leg, and we're going to do the exact thing. Place the band under our foot. We're going to point the toes up and curl in, down and release. Up and curl in, down and release, okay? And we're going to do this leg for 10 minutes. For 10 reps. I'm sorry, guys. Not 10 minutes. 10 reps, okay? Now, once we have completed that one, we will begin to transition into our next move, which will require us to place the band in the middle of our foot, like before. And we will begin to point our toes downward, allowing our heel to be upward in the air. So kind of in like a slanted like motion, okay? And this one, like I said, we're going to slant down and we're going to pull the band outward. So you kind of want to have your hands on the outside and not tucked under, okay? Because it'll be a lot harder if you have your hand tucked under. So we're going to point downward and we're going to pull out, and then up, down, up, down, up, okay? So every time you point your toes down, you're going to pull the band out. And then once you're bringing it back in, your toes are going to be back up, okay? So, like I said, toes down, band out. Toes up, band in, okay? That's just kind of how I say it so that I can remember, and maybe that'll be helpful for you as well. So we're going to do it 10 times with each leg, and pull the band as far as you're able to pull. Do not overextend yourself to the point where you're hurting yourself, you're losing your posture, or just overdoing it, you know what I mean? I want everybody to do it and not hurt themselves. The point of this is to get a nice workout and it being fun and learning new things. We don't want anyone hurting themselves while participating, okay? So I guess it'd be a little easier though if you if you put the band up towards your toes instead of in the middle of your foot, okay? I'm sorry, I did tell you guys to put it in the middle of your foot, but let's just go ahead and place the band towards the top of our toes, okay? So we're gonna downward, up, downward, up, downward, up, downward, up, okay? And like I said, 10 times, pull to your desired reach and move at your desired speed, okay? It's all about learning to control your coordination, your posture, all right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling it in my arms, all right? We're going to do that 10 times on each leg, okay? So, now that we have done our second move, we will move to our last and final move with our band, okay? So, for this one, we will continue to have the band placed in the middle of our foot, okay? In the middle of our foot. And this one, we're going to keep the foot planted on the ground. So if it makes it a little easier for you, kind of scoot to the edge of the chair. I don't want you to scoot up too far if it's going to make you lose your posture and your balance, okay? But just scoot up so that you kind of have a better position of the band. We don't want you to be doing this and the band pop from under your foot and messes everything up, all right? So we're going to have the band under our foot. We're going to pull the band in towards our chest as if we are going into a prayer motion. A prayer motion, okay? Then we're going to twist and twist. Now, if it is a little hard, I would suggest that you just simply, so since this is our right leg, just twist to the right and back to the front. And then to the right and back to the front. Okay? So, let's do it again. Pull it in towards our chest. And turn. And turn. And turn. And turn. Okay. So, we're going to do that 10 times with the right side. And then we're going to switch to the left side. And we're going to pull it in as if we're praying. And we're going to turn to the left. Turn to the left. Turn to the left. Now, Do not overextend yourself. If it's hard to turn too far, just half turn, a quarter of a turn, okay? We don't want anybody to strain anything in their backs, all right? It's all about doing it the right way without hurting ourselves. All right, so go ahead and scoot back into your chair. We're done with the resistant band. You guys have made it through. So now, lastly, we will be entering our cool down portion of the group. Now, this portion is simple and it's just going to require us to focus on our breathing technique, okay? We're going to focus on breathing in through our nose and breathing out through our mouth. And again. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. All right. And we're going to do that until we get our heartbeat back to its resting beat, okay? And there we have it. That is our warm-up, our 3 moves, and our cool-down portion of the exercise group. You guys made it through. You guys should be proud of yourself. In the Chair Pilates class, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a great time. And I hope you will consider to join another group with me in the future. I believe that Chair Pilates and resistance bands exercise group should be implemented because it benefits these two populations in so many ways, so many good ways. For starters, the geriatric population will benefit greatly from the group because of the low impact movements that will allow them to work on creating muscle mass strength. It benefits the Parkinson's disease population greatly because of the low impact movements that will aid them on working towards their balance and coordination. Pilates Chair's resistant band and exercise group is a beneficial group because of the low impact movements, which will help aid in things such as postural orientation. Postural orientation will teach them how to use less energy while completing activities. This can be activities such as exercise groups. It could be daily living activities such as getting dressed or moving yourself from the bed into your chair or even going to the restroom. Just daily living activities. This group is also beneficial for these two populations because they will be learning how to control and work on their stability limits. Now, working on stability limits will aid in helping them reach in greater distance. When I say greater distance, I mean things such as feeding yourselves, so picking your food up and being able to reach it to your mouth without missing your mouth. This can be picking up a cup to drink, even pouring yourself something to drink. Greater distance could be you being able to reach and put your toothbrush under the water and then bring it back up to your mouth and brush. Or maybe if you're playing a game of bingo and you need to reach to grab your chip so that you could place it onto the board. Or maybe you're playing a card game with a friend and you have to pick from the deck and so you need to reach a little further. Or if you're playing a game of chess or checkers, if you're completing a puzzle and you need to grab puzzle pieces, or even being able to bend down and pick something up that you might have dropped off the ground. That is what I mean when I say help with greater distance. This class will also help them all break a bit of sweat and help them feel accomplished in completing an exercise group. I mean, really, who doesn't feel good after completing an exercise group, after thinking you couldn't complete the exercise group? I know that I recently just started exercising, and it can be a bit discouraging. For me, it could be discouraging for these two populations, and it could just be discouraging just to anyone, period. And so I know when I complete an exercise class, I feel accomplished. I feel great when I feel a bit of sweat on me because it reminds me that I'm doing something right, that I'm actually moving my body and I'm putting it into great use. So yeah, the feeling of just accomplishing something. This exercise group will also be beneficial for your social skills. I know most people, when they go into things such as an exercise group, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, the least to say. I know you don't think that once you go into an exercise group that your mind isn't necessarily there to make friends, okay? But you'd be surprised at how something such as an exercise group and the environment will create different relationships that you never thought you would have created prior, going into the group. So, like I said, just working on your social skills, being able to, proudly speak during the class when you are having a little bit of trouble performing, or if you didn't quite understand a move, or you didn't hear the move or the expected technique. You know what I mean? So, it definitely is beneficial in those social skills because, like I said, it's allowing you to be confident and speak up when you need help or when you need something repeated. You know what I mean? So it's definitely beneficial in the social skills area. It's also beneficial in the cognitive portion of a person. So being able to follow the directions and listen, it's a big ordeal whether you believe it or not. And I think that this is something that each population can really benefit from. As time goes on through our lives, we tend to stop using a lot of things, and we just kind of do it our own way. So being able to actually watch and follow direction and listen, you know what I mean? It's working on so much that a lot of us haven't used probably in a long time. So that is something that is also will be beneficial for these two groups because, like I mentioned, being able to follow directions and listen while doing these things, especially with a resistant band, it will allow you to learn how to control the band and how to keep it stationed under your foot so that you're not hurting yourselves. Listening to the instructor tell you that you don't have to overstrain your body to complete it. And I know a lot of us, we get discouraged when we feel like we can't, the one move where you have to pull into a prayer position and half turn. A lot of us, we feel like we're not able to do that turn. We might lose our balance or we might hurt ourselves. So listening to the instructor and paying attention to when she tells you that you don't have to overstrain yourself to complete these moves. You can, what is the word? You can adapt these moves so that they are impacting you and fitting you, and you're not hurting yourself. So being able to listen to the instructor is key. So yeah, like I said, working on your cognitive portion, and also it will help you emotionally. I know when I work out, it doesn't matter what day it is. If I'm in a bad mood, a good mood, I always leave out feeling better than whatever I felt when I was going in. So if you're joining the group and at the beginning of the group you feel like, oh, this isn't going to work. I'm not up to this. I'm just not really in the mood. After completing the exercise group, the chair Pilates with resistant band class, you will notice that your energy has shifted. You will notice that you feel good afterwards. Because exercising and moving, it releases those dopamines and stuff in your body that changes your mood. Like, I don't know, if I go in usually, and if I go into the gym and I'm not in the best of the mood, and I know deep down I don't want to be here, I'm tired, I have a lot to do on my plate, it kind of makes it hard going into the group. But once I come out, I feel so good, and like, wow, I'm glad that I went in and I did that, and I accomplished it, and I worked through my mood. You know what I mean? I didn't let my mood get in the way of completing the class. And I think that that's what all of us will feel when we complete this exercise group. I think you all will leave feeling emotionally better because you successfully completed the class, which in my personal opinion is guaranteed to change anyone's mood. Just knowing that you did it will, like I said, change your mood. So overall, I just believe that chair Pilates with resistant bands is an excellent exercise group. It will build new relationships. It will help with confidence. It will help you in your posture, your coordination. It will help you with your stability limits, your postural orientation, your attitude, your cognition, your fine motor skills, your gross motor skills. The class, the benefits from this class to me are endless, and it is a great class put together for the geriatric in the Parkinson's disease population. Because I know that those populations, they don't believe that they can, but after completing this course, I feel that they all will realize that they indeed can do it, and hopefully it will encourage them to do more. So that's why I feel that this group is an excellent exercise group. I feel that it should be considered and implemented. You learn great breathing techniques. You learn a fine cardio warm-up. You have someone encouraging you the entire time. You don't have to overdo yourself to benefit from these movements. And overall, I just think that this is a great group, and I think that it should be implemented for the two populations. So I just want to say thank you all for joining my exercise group. As I mentioned earlier, it wasn't much, but it was enough to get your body woke, moved, and a change of energy. I hope you all learn some new movements that you can do maybe on your own. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed, I hope that the cool down portion and learning the breathing technique, I hope that you are able to use that, like I said, when you're feeling overwhelmed. If you ever wanted to, just get your heartbeat moving and your blood flowing, I hope that the cardio warm-up session of this, I hope that you learn from that. And I just hope everyone just was able to learn from this group. I hope that you guys had fun. Hope that you guys will consider maybe possibly joining another one of my exercise groups in the future. And I just can't thank you guys enough for taking the time to participate with me. Thank you guys so much. Hope you all have a great day.